excited because I knew the story I was going to tell right away. And I think I wanted to tell it mostly because I became a comedian because I can't take anything seriously ever. Like when things are supposed to be serious, I'm always laughing. And I think this story maybe was maybe the reason for that. So I've entitled it, Don't Wear Sparkly Shoes. There we go. Taking place the summer beforehand, this is a story I've been telling since I was in about the 7th grade. And given its inappropriate nature, it's a story that I've also been getting in trouble for telling since about the 7th grade. It was the summer after grade 6, and that would have made me about 12 years old. Just to paint a picture in your mind's eye and not like overly relevant to the plot, I'll just tell you who I was at that time. 12-year-old Brittany had an extremely poor attitude and an even worse haircut. The haircut can be explained simply. Earlier that year, I had demanded my father to take me to get my hair cut like my brothers because I was sick and tired of doing the dishes after Thanksgiving dinner. And in my 12-year-old brain, if I looked like him, I could just watch football with my uncles like everybody else. Well, this was one of many situations that I would learn not to call my dad's bluff on, and the result of a pixie cut, I can only blame myself for. As for my attitude, that was also a work in progress. I'd almost finished my second go-round with an anger management counselor, this time for launching my My Little Pony binder like a ninja star in the general direction of my 58-year-old science teacher's face, who coincidentally had the same haircut. It might have been a thing. I just was like, shut up! So this story begins in that period in my life, and it was the summer before grade 7. It begins on a last-minute camping trip that my parents had planned. My parents had bought a second-hand tent trailer for $300 that they were extremely proud of. And despite the fact it was the camping equivalent to a K car, my dad was out of this world handy, and he rigged it up with like shelves and a sound system and lights. It was crazy. Super white trashy, but fun. It was good times. And they were super excited to bring it out. So they planned a last-minute trip. And we had it out. It had to be nearby, so we picked a place called Nature's Hideaway, which is just outside of town. I'm not sure if any of you have camped there. Some people are saying yes. Nature is hiding away for sure. Underneath a pile of white trash people drinking is where nature is hiding. But even though we were excited, and even though the place was a dump, it was sunny for miles. There was not a cloud in the sky, for 3 hours, and then it was a torrential downpour for 3 days. Now I didn't mention that my dad is out of this world handy, because he is, and he started stringing up tarps that spanned our entire campsite, and he made a sweet sauna out of river rocks that he had heated in the fire, because he's MacGyver. He fetched river rocks, put them in the fire, heated them up, and then created it out of a tarp and a spruce tree because he thought it created ambiance. That's awesome. Even though we did have all of that, we were all bored out of our skulls because it was raining. And being 12 years old, like just getting hammered camping wasn't an option yet. So my parents they got hammered, but they had to think of games for us. And I think that's probably this weekend's probably responsible for why I can still kick everybody's ass in crib. And why I can take a grown man down to his knees with a sleeping bag over his head. Because that's a fun game. Our campsite was conveniently and disgustingly located next to the bathroom. So it generated a lot of foot traffic of drunk, bored people walking to and from the can. If anybody's been inside a camping bathroom, you know that the only way it could possibly get that gross is in that exact situation. 300 campers ingesting only hot dogs and booze for days on end. It smells like sadness and looks like regret. I would hardly call this romantic. Which brings me to the next part of my story. My dad said he was running up to the bathroom and that he would be right back. However, when he got there, he heard some odd noises coming from the stall next to him. Obviously, a few people had found a way to cure their boredom. Banging in the bathroom stall, like Shaggy had suggested that year. Like, good song. The bathroom floor, whatever. He curiously glanced underneath to make sure that he would see 2 pairs of shoes and not just one. And that's exactly what he saw. But something was off. He saw large pairs of shoes, sneakers, only fit for a grown man, and the second pair were small, too small, and sparkly, like too sparkly, only the kind a child would wear. He assumed the absolute worst. He yelled back for my brother to come up, and I'm not sure what additional evidence you would need to prove that that was a child, but crying wolf is one thing, and screaming pedophile requires at least a second set of eyes. Like I said, there was a lot of foot traffic, so when he slammed on the door and demanded the man came out, a crowd started forming, and once they learned what was going on, it was like a town hunt for Frankenstein. My brother ran back to fill us in, and he breathlessly proclaimed, "There's a man, and there's a kid with sparkly shoes, and I think something bad is happening. Oh my God, I don't know." And my mom was like, "What?" So she was like, "I gotta go." And we followed behind her because there was a group forming. And just as we were walking up, the man sheepishly exited, and what was initially believed to be a child was in actuality a 34-year-old little person. A grown man was having completely consensual sex with a midget inside a bathroom stall at a campground called Nature's Hideaway. People thought they were solving a crime on Law & Order's SVU, when in actuality they were just busting in on a tiny, tiny woman's climax. People were dying laughing, but she was pissed. She was embarrassed, but mostly pissed. She yelled at the top of her tiny, tiny little lungs, "I'm 34 years old, and I can fuck whoever I want." People were speechless. That's true. But given my shitty 12-year-old attitude, and the fact that my father's pride was in the wings, the only thing I could think out to yell was, "Next time, could you not wear sparkly shoes, maybe?"